We should take and really look at and listen to. So again, from Poor Magazine, Leroy Moore and Tiny.
I'm the black cripple. Look at me, hear this, hear this. I am here in Africa, on your streets, on the corners, with Poor Magazine.
Anti-social workers and case manglers called me crazy, lazy, dumb, and a bum. Because my knowledge don't come from the institution. Yeah, I'm a poverty scholar. That houseless mama, that houseless daughter. I'm a poverty scholar. All the people you don't want to see, you never want to be, you look away from. What you going to do, arrest me? We're in your city. Yeah, I'm a poverty scholar, and I rock my jailhouse attire because me and my whole mama did jail time for the poverty crime of being unhoused in this holler, this occupied indigenous holler. I'm a poverty scholar, the Melanin Challenge, daughter of a strong Afro-Boricua mama for without hunger, living on me, a mama soltera and a welfare queen. So, yeah, you're just seeing two members of the Poets Project of Poor Magazine. And we're all folks who've been houseless, or currently are, and refuse to continue to take the story about us without us. That we all messed up, and we crazy, and we sit on the street, and we a mess, and we need to be swept and kept and incarcerated and lead to our death. No, we're tired of that mess. So actually, I always say, no matter how many times you put me in jail, don't give me a home. Can I get a witness on that? Right?
Sure.
So along, like just Leslie was talking about, we've been doing stuff for a minute in Frisco, and then we got gentrified out of Frisco. That's why we're not here right now. That's why some of you haven't seen us as much. We're at Deep East Oakland now. But what's going on in terms of us is when I was sleeping in the car with my mama as a young person, we ended up getting multiple citations. That didn't just start yesterday. I don't have to tell any of y'all that it's, a citable crime to be sleeping on the street without a roof in this occupied indigenous territory. This is Ohlone Lashon land. So these colonizers done this for a long time, or what I call politricksters, right? This isn't the first time. This isn't the worst time, for real. So it's important for us to also connect those dots. But anyway, fast forward to me and Ma, we were dealing with that deep, deep, deep struggle. And for any of y'all who've been there, I don't have to tell you that pain. And it didn't we didn't overcome poverty and pull up our bootstraps, because that's some bullshit too. What we did is we worked together. This society teaches you to leave your mamas and go as far away as you can. Sometimes we endanger us home, and that's real. But oftentimes it's also about the line of separation. Cult of independence. Instead, we connected, stayed together, went through all that, and my mama started to get in touch with a lot of the culture that had been taken from her, and we started to realize that our relationship to poverty was similar to folks all over the world. And that's how we launched Poor Magazine. It was a huge process, and we had to beg, borrow, and steal, and there's all kinds of stories that I don't tell everybody how that happened, but we launched a magazine. Beautiful, intentionally glossy, beautiful magazine, because we wanted a beautiful space for our stories. We wanted people to see us in the ways that we saw each other, right? And so fast forward to now, we're building something we call homefulness. Wrap your words around that. Homefulness, not homelessness. It's a poor people-led solution to homelessness. And it didn't come from no politics or dollars or government grants. And we're still working on it because Poor Magazine is in fact code. But we talk with race and class privilege about the notion of radical redistribution. And it's an ongoing and very long process. But so far, we halfway there. We also do a lot of radical actions like Leslie was talking about. We do a lot of cultural art because at our core, we're artists. We're poets, we're theater people, and want to share with you all that we actually are in a really interesting moment. Because we just put out a book. It's what we call Rutgers textbook. It's called Poverty Scholarship. And we're going to start doing our, yeah, there it is. Pretty amazing. 21 years, 525 years. It's a big thing. But out of it, what we're trying to do is share the people's solutions to these issues. And also create a series of theater production pieces called Poverty Scholars. So I just want to let you all know we'll be doing a series of workshops. And if any of y'all want to come, it'll be free. And then we'll be putting on the theater productions all over the Bay. So the first one's on February 3rd in Oakland, but we'll be doing one here too, so we'll let you know about that. But back to this mess, this conservatorship. We're poets. We both have a short piece of poetry we like to read that we created in honor of this redunculi. So I'm going to turn it back to my brother Leroy to spit his, and then I'll spit mine, and then we'll talk to you a little bit about what we think should be done.
Okay, I just wrote this like about 2 seconds ago.
Best guy.
It's called Years of Oppressive Policies on Places in High Places. From forced treatment to canine cast to conservatorship, mayor after mayor, now following the real Natural Act, watered down the act, and that's a fact. One original author saw the same under Ronald Reagan, Republican. This is nothing new, causing more and more lawsuits. Follow the money. Food budget gets bigger, not mental health. Taking away poor people's dollars makes me holler. While chief of the SFPD brings home more than the mayor. City after city out of compliance of accessibility laws. Taking up benches under Willie Brown. Taking away SSI under Gavin Newsom. Putting black single mothers in jail under Kamala Harris. Taking away tents under London Breeze. So here we go again. From former mayors, Pink Jordan, Willie Brown, Gavin Newsom, Ed Lee, to London Breeze. Shut down California governments. Pay out people's settlements for years of oppressive policies.
So mine's called Politics and Poverty. I did say politics. And by the way, orange ain't the new black. Don't let Hollywood sell you no crap.
Yeah.
That's not why I wear my soiled jail suit. Me and Mama did that time. And I'm trying to uninvisibilize that crime because people get picked up and incarcerated every day, as well as having our tents taken away. I'm just filled with that right now because we have a project called Roofless Radio. That's ROOF. And 4 of our reporters last week had their tents taken 2 times in 1 week. Anyway, we've released some research on that, and I'll give that to you guys in a minute. But this one is just kind of popped some ideas because I heard you're all artists and you're thinking with Leslie about what we could do. Politics and poverty go together like milk and sour honey. Stop and frisk, ugly laws, sit-lie laws, conservatorship. With all these paper laws, you could build paper walls with all those politrickster halls. But don't come to this town, because if you go, you can't even sit down. Politics and poverty go together like milk and sour honey. Po folks used and abused for this politrick shell game. We just want to help them by getting rid of them. We just want people to see there is still hope. We have to get rid of the homeless problem. We have to build affordable housing. Who's the sweetest talking pimp on the Politrickster street? People been selling poverty to get votes and politics started. Easing the fascist itch of wanting to not see poverty. Kind of like the capitalist game of Monopoly. Means about as much as the pink $10 bills. So much bullshit makes it hard to see. Yeah, it's a wrap. Just give me your vote and I'll give you a house, or give them a house, or at least get them out of your town. Why didn't you do what you said, Politrickster Ted? Oh, that's right, it was a lie. But hey, it made you feel good at the time. Woo. So as you can see, we're kind of upset about this mess. One of the things, just to go back a second, we have this thing called Ruthless Radio. And if any of y'all are on the street currently, or been on the street, you're automatically poverty scholars, reporters, just know that. What's a poverty scholar? Someone who's struggled, dealt with this kind of insanity that we do. If you have the hoarder cluttering disease called wealth hoarding, you aren't considered sick. But if you keep too many boxes or hairbrushes or papers, the antisocial work will evict you from your poor people housing. So that part. But one of the things is, you know, we were looking at the history of the conservatorship. And I do call it that. And I have some articles to pass out to you. But the point being is that for many years, before what Leroy tells you about the Lanterman Act, if any of y'all know, for many years the conservatorship program was the way that poor people, and mostly African people, black peoples of color, lost their housing. Because they could, if the elder who had bought the house, who had spent their entire life saving up to buy that house, and they got put in one of those elder ghettos, they would charge back against the equity, and the city could steal the house. Right? It happens now. It happens now. It's not over. And so it's really interesting to me that this law that was also, right, originally started, I'm just going to pass it down, that originally was started, I guess, behind a whole lot of settler colonial lies about stealing people's land, and then was switched into a law that, like Leroy says, the Lanterman, actually pass it down, actually that's the first and the second page, is now being used to steal poor people's equity, right? People off the street, people's body. And I don't know if you want to add anything in there.
Everything, but we all know, the history of the Lincoln Act. It's interesting because I did research on one of the authors that passed away years ago. He lived in Alameda. And, he was one of the authors that wrote the Lincoln Act. And he realized when under Reagan, they flipped the act on them and started to pick up houses from the streets. So once again, this is not new. And that's the thing that we have to really stress to our politicians. We're not doing anything new. At least come with us with a new something that's not new. And then also I want to say that under gentrification, a lot of cities, not only San Francisco, a lot of cities are going against basic accessibility laws. I was in Willie Brown's, I sat in like 2 commissions under Willie Brown. The Willie Commission in the Accessible Housing Commission. I saw them take votes to pull out the benches on Citizen. Now you walk in Citizen, there's not one bench. I was there when they took that vote. And I and Alice on the homeless voted against it. everybody else 40, 40, 40. And that's against the accessibility law. And now you have what's called homeless art that's cropping up in cities that people can't sit down. So once again, we have to really, think on our cities and say, no, you're going against our laws. And now with the two-thirds, it's going against the original Unlawful Spur Act.
So one of the things that, yeah, go ahead.
It's amazing that you brought that up because one of my jobs I work late night, and what they've done from like Market and 9th all the way to maybe Market and 4th, if you notice anywhere where there's homeless people or people that gather at the bus stops, they've actually taken the seats out.
Yeah.
The shelters are, I went and sat on the floor one day.
Yeah.
I was so sure the seat was there in front of the Orpheum. I did a concert, I came and I said, bam! Because the seat was gone. And even the bus driver tripped. And they did it all overnight without telling anybody. They were just gone. And in some places, they actually took the whole bus shelter booth. They took the whole stop.
Right.
And I haven't heard anything in any news agency or anything about it.
And that's what happened in Berkeley only a couple months ago when they got done with the construction at the Berkeley downtown Poyerty.
They took all the chairs.
All the seats.
Yeah.
Oh.
That was the renewal project.
And also, they were complaining about what a destruction being homeless is, how we litter on the streets, we throw our garbage around, but then they remove all the garbage cans, so we have no place to put our trash.
Exactly.
So it makes us look more dirty, but really, it's just all a big.
Exactly. Well, the part of it, and that's really important, is that they craft that dirty, and then they call it dirty.
Right.
Right, so several of our Ruthless Radio reporters, we did this actually called Invasion of the Tent Snatchers last week. We framed the new mayor's tent stealing as what it is, which is like theft, right? And basically, this brother, is so beautifully organized. He has a feng shui with a little tiny bit of carpet, his magazines. And he does that in like 2 hours. Puts up the tent, gets it all going. Come down, throw all his shit, right? Completely trash it, and leave him with like one stick, and then call us dirty. You know what I mean? So it's a crafting of the dirty. Whenever I talk to people with houses, one second, I got you. I say, imagine if someone came and took the roof off of your room. Would someone call you messy? Would someone call you dirty? You know what I mean? So like flipping the script. And so what I wanted to kind of talk about today is the framing. Because at the end, we're artists, but we're also media producers. And so we're all of you. And we need to start a different frame. We need to stop ascribing to the corporate, politics-ter dominant narrative that we are dirty, messy, crazy, lazy, and to pop that narrative, to pop our agency, to pop our own organization. Because try living in this situation on these streets with no benches and no shelters and no place that you can even sneakily sit, right? So let's turn it around to what it really is, which is violence. And let's start calling, instead of calling them and begging, would you please vote against it? Well, of course we gotta do that shit too. But at the same time, let's flip the narrative. That's what we're going to talk about. And this brother wanted to talk about.
Everything they do, they're setting us up to fail. They want to sit, lie, okay, they're trying to crash our tents and everything, but meanwhile the law says from dusk till dawn you can't lay down. Now, you can lay down during the day, that's fine. But meanwhile they're telling you, get up, get your ass out, find a job, do this. But meanwhile you can't sleep at night, but you can sleep during the day when you're supposed to be out getting a job.
Exactly.
How could, if you've got to be up all night because you're not allowed to sleep all night, how are you supposed to be functioning during the day and going to do what you're supposed to do?
Exactly.
You can't. It's set up to fail.
Exactly. Well, and again, what is that? It's violence, right? That's abuse. And people like, the supervisors and the politricksters They don't get called abusers. They don't get called that. So again, how do you do that, right? Well, part of it is, I want you all to know there's a resource which is called Core Magazine. So we do media. And we do a radio station now on this little piece of land we were able to acquire. It's 96.1 FM, Poor People's Revolutionary Radio. And we're doing a series, basically, on the violence of this perpetration. We also have a show on KPFA. So we have a lot of media that we've acquired, and we also do a newspaper that our
We
youth
did this to our kids.
yeah, and one of the things that we're right now asking to do is, here's, you can pass that on. We're asking for a revolutionary lawyer who's going to help us file an injunction or a cease and desist order against the mayor to stop stealing people's pets. Because, so I want to pass this research around too. So this was just research, Poor People-led research, by the way. I am saying research with a W. I like to mess with the colonized language a lot. You might have noticed that. And so in the research, we talked specifically about the fact that since she took office, 405 tents, and that's just with our 200 or so reporters, have been stolen. Well, to me, let's connect the dots. That has everything to do with this conservatorship. There is an ongoing war on us poor people. That's it. It's a war. Let's call it what it is, and let's name it that way.
It's been going on since Prince George.
Exactly, exactly. In this town where they don't got no space for us, and where if they had their druthers, we'd all be out of here, right? That's why there's no place for us to sit, to be, to stand, to walk, on and on the list goes. What I want to say about that is, CORE is going to be trying to find this lawyer, and that's our goal right now for the cease and desist. But I feel that the framing in that same way fits with the conservatorship, and that we need to kind of pull these pieces together. Let's not do the thing that sometimes happens in activism, where we got, some folk working on the tent snatching and some folk working on the conservatorship. They're the same issue. They're just trying to find out how to get rid of us and make it absolutely impossible.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly. And trying to find it absolutely impossible for us to be here, right? Meanwhile, our brothers and sisters in the Midwest are facing 40 below next week on the street. I'm not even in that whole mess, right? So where are we going to be? Where are we going to go? So my suggestion and my proposal to this particular issue is that we come up with a series of framing. Now, I know Tony and Jessica and all of you guys have been working on this for a minute. We're working on it as well at CORE. And we're also releasing the book this week and the theater project and all these other things. But we already started the flipping of the narrative. And so what I would be really interested in doing, and depending on where your stuff ends up going with the agenda, is, to me, going back to what you were working on with Leslie and talking about in terms of action, at that same time, we flip the narrative and do some kind of a media release that specifically names this as violence. And stop pussyfooting around and calling it anything else. And I know we have to walk that middle place. So, that's the role of us. We're hella revolutionary. Nobody owns us. So some of you have to get some money from the city and play a little bit of a more nice game. We don't have to. And so I want you to know that. And that's okay, right? We can all play different roles. But the beautiful part about this poor people-led liberation movement is ain't nobody tells us what to do. So we can say the real truth. The other thing that I'm curious about for folks is in the thing that Leroy was talking about, the Lanterman thing. I mean, one of the things we're toiling with and struggling with is how do they take something that was actually a caregiving sort of a thing for disabled people, right? It was sort of good, and flip it into this violence. And so I think that there's another piece around that really needs to be lifted up. And I think that's the part that we haven't figured out yet. So that's our beginning proposal to everybody. I don't know if you have any other thoughts. And then I'll show you your list.
Bills and bills, you want to live it up. What is under?
Yeah. Yes, Very,
Well,
yes.
I got 3 things.
Okay.
The first one was, when you said lifting things, I think one of the major things in this that hasn't been brought to light is all the people that are actually gonna make money on this. Because they're gonna be the providers later. They're already planning their special conservatorship houses and group homes and conservatorship
Big
SRO.
money. You got that right.
The other thing is, it really blows my mind because I can say I'm the son of a politician, no name.
Okay.
But I know, and I know that all politicians, when they open their mouth, they're lying. I know that too. That's my fault. Okay. So, one of the things that really blows my mind is if anybody ever studied the tents. The tents started with a woman who lives in Pacific Heights that walks to the Tenderloin, to work every day. And she got pissed off because she called the emergency city services every day. Go, there's a guy out there with no legs. He doesn't have housing. There's a family over there. They're not housed. What are you guys doing? And she found out the hard way. Nada. Nothing. So she got her Pacific Heights friends together and said, F this. We're going to do something. We all got money. And we don't want to give it to them because they might use drugs, or we even hear that when you're buying food, they sell it and use
Oh,
drugs.
yeah, right.
So they went out and bought all these tents and gave them away, and to her total astonishment, the city turned against her,
Wow.
and now are taking the tents. So they're taking something away from you that keeps you safe from the weather
Right.
to make you sit in the weather
Right.
because they don't have a place to take you out of the weather.
Right. Don't you love that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, if you're sick and die, you don't have to worry about you no more.
Yeah.
And it'll be your car as well.
Exactly.
Even if you have a roof, if it has 4 wheels underneath it,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to use it.
Exactly. You can't sleep in the overnight parking lot. So
That's
these
like
are,
when you took my bus when I had a bus and I had my 2 kids in there. Yeah, really fucked up. They didn't give a shit that I had kids. They actually were targeting me more because of my
of
kids.
course.
And they told me the reason they were taking my bus was because it was eyesore.
Wow.
That's it.
And the whole idea was to control you and get the kids, of course, right?
Oh, they didn't do it. They didn't
No, but I mean,
try.
that was in their
They
mind.
tried. Yeah. Futile effort, yeah.
But
But
yeah,
it's
no,
not just
totally.
about taking tents, it's about taking homes.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
security that we're trying to build, you know?
Exactly.
Open up another market for a chance to make money.
Yeah. No, that's completely what it is. And usually when these laws are passed, it is because somebody is gonna make some money. That's
got
the
a-
kind
yeah.
of freaky, scary,
Yeah.
I got a
unspoken
friend
piece of
working-
it. It's so real. It's so real.
It's so interesting that they say, you know, each time, you know, for Anthony and I, we've been doing around police brutality, and, you know, if you apply for, give you a shot, it doesn't take 8 times for the police